A number of years ago, I was happily driving with my father through the Scottish countryside in a rental car when we were suddenly sidelined by a flat tire. We immediately set to work trying to loosen the lug nut on the affected wheel, but with no success. Even with a 1-foot wrench, we could not budge it. We finally called roadside assistance, and before long, a gentleman arrived in a tow truck. He pulled out a wrench with a 4-foot lever, and with minimal exertion turned the lug nut at once. We were back in business, ready to put on the spare. As engineers, my father and I immediately smiled. Torque equals force times the length of the lever arm. The longer the lever, the easier the work to loosen the lug nut. In today's gospel, the apostles asked the Lord, "Increase our faith." What a beautiful prayer. Jesus, increase our faith. Faith is like a lever. The challenges of life, our fears, anxieties, and struggles can feel like an immovable lug nut. On our own, with no leverage, we simply cannot move them. But faith gives us the lever we need. The greater our faith, the longer the lever, and the more able we are to face life's difficulty with peace and perseverance. One such example is Cardinal Nguyen Van Thuan of Vietnam. In 1975, just after being named Archbishop of Saigon, he was arrested by the communist government. He would spend 13 years in prison, 9 of them in solitary confinement. Imagine the weight of that. Cut off from his people, deprived of freedom, isolated in silence. It would have been easy to collapse under despair. But Van Thuan's faith became his lever. Each day he secretly celebrated the Eucharist in the palm of his hand with a drop of wine and a crumb of bread. His prison cell became his cathedral. He chose love over hatred, hope over despair. He later said, "I will not wait, I will live the present moment, filling it with love." That is what faith does. It gives leverage against what seems immovable. On his own, Van Thuan could not have survived those years without bitterness or despair, but with faith, he moved through them with peace, even turning his suffering into a testimony of God's love. So too with us. The greater our faith, the longer the lever, and the more we are able to move through the burdens of life. Today, let us give thanks to God for the faith we possess already, and let us pray with the apostles and beg, "Lord, increase our faith."